Plaintiff Elena Schultz rented a room in the defendant's home, and she claims 13 days after moving in, she realized the defendant had hidden cameras in her room. Elena says after the police investigated, they discovered the defendant had over 500 hours of Elena on tape. And she's suing him today for rent, a security deposit, and emotional distress. Defendant Michael Chaffetz says before Elena moved in, he rented a room to a masseuse who wanted the cameras installed for safety purposes. Michael insists the cameras were disconnected after that tenant moved out, and he never videotaped Elena. He's countersuing for defamation and harassment.
Start with you.
Well, Your Honor, I would first like to start off saying and letting the whole world know that this man, Mr. Chaffetz, is a disgusting, nasty pervert. He was basically filming me without my knowledge.
Lies.
He had put hidden cameras in my room. I'd rented a room from him.
He's your landlord, obviously?
Yes, sir. He put hidden cameras in my room. I moved in on April 1st, 2014. On April 13th, 2014, I had taken a shower. I got out of the shower. I was drying off with my towel and noticed there was a motion detector in the corner of my room. I thought it was odd looking. I jumped up on the dresser and I opened up the motion detector and there was a camera in there. Then I looked over and there was a smoke detector, which also looked odd. Shined a light on the smoke detector, another camera. This man was also watching me as this happened. The motion I was going through, Your Honor, I can't even describe. I immediately am thinking, is this person gonna come down and kick in my door and bring me down the garage and bury me in a ditch?
Yeah.
I knew him for 13 days. I don't know him. He could do anything to me. So wow. I locked the door, called the police. I was in there waiting for the police. He knocked on my door 3 times because he'd watched me and known that I had found the cameras. While I was waiting for the police, he left the residence. The police showed up. I gave them my statement. I found out that he had over 500 hours of me on his DVR. He had also...
Not true.
He had also admitted to filming me for his own sexual pleasures.
Never.
Okay, he's denying all of this.
Never.
So before you go any further, let me allow him to address the things that you've said. Sir, what do you say to this? She says that you were her landlord and she found hidden cameras where you were taping her, I guess in the nude as well when you were in your room, or showering,
changing my clothes,
everything else,
dressing, being naked.
Never.
And you had 500 hours of it?
Over 500 hours the detectives found in his DVR.
Sir, what do you say to this?
Well, Your Honor, first I'd like to tell you that I made an unfortunate mistake of renting a room to Elena, who's a known drug user, ex-stripper from Las Vegas.
Not true.
Who has been, as a matter of fact, this man told me that, first of all, who's ever since been trying to extort money from me from that day. Basically, around April 1st, like she stated, she came to me via a service that conducts background checks, so I felt comfortable renting to her, right away, because she said she was living in her car, so she needed a place to live right away. So prior to that, I did have a renter in there who was a massage therapist, and she had me set up cameras for her safety while she gave massages in the room, and that was a different person prior to her. Because she moved in that day, I didn't have a chance to take the cameras out. I didn't, but they were not connected in the first place, so she has no hours of anything.
Your Honor, everything you said
Quiet, man, quiet.
If she has proof of that, I'd like to see it, but there was nothing was ever done.
I know you would like to see it. Go
yeah,
ahead.
right.
What else?
Not with her, though. She's far from attractive.
Okay.
Anyways.
All right. What do you have the dog here for?
He's my medical dog, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is that a big dog? Pit bull?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Not vicious, obviously.
Not at all. So
all
anyways,
right.
I'd like to also state that I did, because of all this,
Now let me go back to her now.
Oh,
You've
okay,
denied
yeah.
everything,
Okay.
and you told me the circumstances under which she moved in, and you've said, you've spoken of her character. You said she's a stripper, and what else did you say she was?
Drug user.
A drug user and a stripper. What drugs does she use? What type?
As far as I saw while she was living there, methamphetamine and marijuana.
You were there?
Oh, yeah. I lived
Y'all
there,
did
too.
it together?
No, she did. No.
Oh, in front of you,
Yep.
she did it.
Yep.
So what were you all doing? Give me the scenario there.
Your Honor.
When she was doing crystal meth in front of you. You all were just talking, reading the
Yep.
Bible,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Yeah.
You were reading the Bible.
No, talking.
Talking about what?
The Bible.
Gotcha. All right. All right. Good enough. Good enough. Let's see. You go ahead, ma'am. You
Your
finish
Honor,
what you're telling me.
first off, this gentleman, the day I called the police, he was arrested for methamphetamine, actually.
That she planted in my room.
I planted. It says right here.
She planted in your room.
She
You
planted.
were doing the meth while you were
planted.
reading the Bible, huh?
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
no prior convictions of any methamphetamine use. This man has 5.
We have him admit 5.
Yeah.
You have 5
5 for
convictions?
convictions.
Sir, I'm talking to me. Do you have 5 convictions for using crystal
Not that I
meth?
know of.
Do you have any evidence
Yes,
of that?
sir,
Because you got to give me some evidence of all this stuff you're saying.
the
You said, let me
day-
see the 5 convictions first.
The day
Because
I
he
made this
flatly
report-
denies it. The day you what?
The day I made the report, he was arrested for methamphetamine. The police had asked whose fingerprints would be on the baggies. He said his would be, not mine. After that, he also admitted in that report, sir, that he was filming me for his sexual pleasures. He stated it twice. I also have prior police reports of him being arrested for controlled substances right here, sir, 2009, and there was also 2 of them in 2014.
Let me see those. Yes.
And also, I have pictures.
So I thought you might have been, but certainly now I'm convinced you are a nut. You come in here, you have 5 convictions for crystal meth, and let me read what you told the police. He quickly added that he did not watch all the time, but he had gone back on the DVR and reviewed old footage of Schultz.
That's not true.
He said police lied and they came up with this
No, not at all.
conversation. He said that she usually just walked around and whenever the camera sensed movement, they would automatically start
Not true.
recording. You didn't tell the police this?
No, sir, that was about the prior tenant.
He admitted that he had been turned on by watching and that it was
Not
for
true.
his own personal sexual satisfaction.
Not
You
true.
didn't tell the police
Not
that
true.
either?
Not true.
You didn't tell
No,
them
I did
that.
not.
You
No.
nasty freak.
No, I No, I did not.
Now sue me for defamation like you're doing her. That's called opinion. Taping this woman while she's naked. You actually admit it to the police
Sir, the
for
court,
your own sexual satisfaction?
that court was dismissed. The DA
Yeah, right.
dismissed.
Let me see. Probably a
DA dismissed the
technicality. I
case.
bet you it was a
Exactly,
technicality.
technicality.
Technicality?
Yes,
Right.
Your
What
Honor.
did they say? The reason
Technicality.
they
The
dismissed it.
technicality was, Your Honor, that the way the police went about getting the search warrant was there was a problem with it.
Because you admitted to the police and you have these 5 convictions
This is me
of crystal
sleeping, Your
meth,
Honor.
just like you
These
denied.
are pictures from
Not
him
true.
watching me sleeping in my room.
Okay.
I thought
Not true.
all women need to know how sick he is. Women need to know. They need to know that he is disgusting. I can't go one day without thinking about Your Honor. Every day, I can't even
already
go
told us
use a
that.
Is
rest.
this
I
all
can't
you
even-
want, ma'am? You should have went to a higher court of jurisdiction
Oh, my God.
instead of getting this little $5,000. What is your counterclaim? How does she defame you, sir?
First of all, she comes to me a week later, strong-arming me, saying she's going to charge me $5,000, and that's just
Lies.
a start.
For what?
For what? For
Yeah.
who knows? That's what I'm saying.
For
That's
who
what I'm
knows?
getting
If
at.
you don't
Yeah.
know, your claim is dismissed. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
Watch out. He'll film you. He'll sexually arouse himself and do sick pleasures to himself while he shoots up methamphetamine. Obviously, he's 50 years old. He brought an 18-year-old with him. He's disgusting.
I thought it was funny that a motion detector turned on and took pictures while she was sleeping.
With no motion. How did that happen?
Plaintiff Tamara Wortman says she inherited the defendant as a tenant. And although he had a criminal record, he insisted he had found Christ in prison. Tamara claims the defendant turned out to be a hoarder, and she's suing him for unpaid rent. Defendant John Abel feels Tamara always looked down on him because of his criminal history. John denies owing because he claims he cleaned the property in exchange for rent, and he's countersuing for unpaid wages.
Start with you.
Well, Your Honor, I met John in about April of 2014. I inherited him as a tenant. The guy who sold me my duplex asked me if I would consider keeping him on. He did tell me that he did have a criminal record, but that he did find Christ in prison and that he was a born-again Christian.
Christ.
He was a born-again Christian.
Oh, okay, yeah, because Christ was never lost.
Maybe it was for him for a short time.
Go ahead.
So anyway, then, although the longer I've known him, he might be more of a born-again liar at times.
Tell me some of the things that went on during the tenancy.
Well, the biggest thing was the first year went well, and I renewed his lease, and during that second year, he became more of a hoarder of salvage materials, and
Ma'am, don't name. I don't allow that. You've seen a lot of women going in and out or something?
I'm sorry?
She
said
said
that the man
hoarder. Hoarder, not
Hoarder.
not H.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Hoarder. All right. Now, okay. All right.
Okay.
I didn't hear that D-E-R part. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Go ahead, ma'am.
So
he
after-
became a hoarder.
That's correct.
Got it.
Yes, collecting salvage materials of defunct cars, lawnmowers, motorcycle parts, and so forth. And then I tried to get him to stop that, and in June of this year, I asked him to leave because I also had a complaint from one of the neighbors about the backyard, and then there was also a bit of a mention that they were concerned.
What did he say when you asked him to leave? Did he leave
He always said
voluntarily?
that I would. He always said I would leave. If you want me to leave, let me know.
And when did he leave?
Well, I had to finally evict him
When?
3 months down the road,
All right. Did you have a
and he has not.
judgment there?
I do.
Okay. Sir, let me hear from you.
My name's John Abel. It was my understanding that as long as I kept curb appeal, none of my scrap was visible from the street, that it was okay. It was kind of a certain area she had mapped out that was okay.
Okay. And what has your tenancy been like with the landlord?
It's been rocky, but
How so?
I wasn't aware that I was on the out list until I was, I guess.
Why has it been rocky?
Well, it seems to be a little judgmental. Like she's always down on me, looking down on me, or like I'm not doing something right. And I don't understand that, but here I am, you know.
What has she said? What has she...
No, it's not always that, Your Honor. I just, mannerisms, you know. I don't judge anybody. I don't want judged.
No, but what is it that you think she's looking down upon you about?
Possibly because of my criminal history, my past.
Has she said something like that? Or are you saying her mannerisms indicate that?
Yes.
Because her mannerisms, based on what I've heard, is that she knew you had a criminal record. And that certainly doesn't account for anyone who looks down on someone with a criminal record. You're saying that she thinks she's better than you? Is that what you...
Yes, Your
And you
Honor.
get that impression?
Yes.
Based on her mannerisms?
Yes. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just have that feeling.
Okay, and on the other
Like I'm
hand,
being judged.
I'm just playing with you all, but quite frankly, sir, now that you're on that subject, I think it's unfair and it's a paranoia that may not be true. I think it's unfair for folks who are ex-offenders who come home from prison to just suddenly think everybody's looking down on them. That might not be the case, and if so, who cares? Live a life to make them look up to you, that's all. That's what you do. Regardless of how she lived it. You know, folks, ex-offenders need to stop that. You know, they need to have the confidence to know that they can get over the obstacle that they went through. And no jobs. Nobody hires an ex-offender. Well, go to school until that 5 years is up that you can get an expungement, get it removed from your record. Stay in school until it does. Even if you become a PhD, once you get it removed, if you got a PhD, you can teach college. So my point being, there's alternatives ladies and gentlemen, when you are unable to get employment immediately. And if you're coming out of prison, you probably have no resources, nobody to help. So therefore, you'll qualify for the maximum amount of financial aid to go to college. So that's my advice. That's what I had to do. I remember I stayed in. One of the reasons because I knew I probably wouldn't get a job as an ex-offender. I stayed in school, got my expungements, and then went to law school. So just a piece of advice. Don't think that people are looking down on you all the time. All right, so tell me specifically what happened here with the rent.
Well, I asked him to leave in June, and I gave him 9 weeks to leave because I knew it would take a bit to get the materials out of the yard and everything. And so at that time, I have a letter kind of that's synopsis.
See it, please.
That does kind of summarize, the whole conversation. Basically, that with the, summarization is that I asked him to leave, gave him 9 weeks, and I came back on August the 20th, and he wasn't gone. As a matter of fact, he locked me out of my own building on the day he was supposed to be out. And so he forced me to take him to court for eviction. So I did. That took about another, as you know, probably 3 to 4 weeks from the time that you do it. And so that got us into the end of September. And so he didn't pay any rent from the day I asked him to leave, even though in the letter it does say that he has to keep paying. And basically, I feel he owes me for rent from July, August, September.
Sir?
I was under the understanding I was to work, concentrate on getting them things that can get moved out, and that's what I've tried to do, Your Honor. So
Move the items that caused an eyesore to the property?
She wanted me to clean up the yard.
That's all you had to do? Well, I don't have to pay rent. I can just clean up after myself, and that's rent. You were cleaning up after yourself. Yeah. All right, you have the wrong impression. That may go back to some of your thinking. A lot of times folks come out and think somebody owes them something and should do something extra for them because you know what I've been through. Yeah, you put yourself through it. I didn't come out thinking nobody was supposed to do anything for me. In fact, I came out not wanting anybody to do anything for me so I can prove that I was worthy of their respect. All right, so keep that attitude, not the attitude of, oh, nobody gonna wanna hire me, nobody wanna do that, I've ruined my life. No, come out and say, well, I know people are talking about me like a dog. I know they call me a jailbird, a convict, they call me this, but I'm about to prove everybody wrong. That's the attitude, not, well, I was cleaning up after myself, so I thought I didn't have to pay no rent. What's your counterclaim for? What you suing her for?
It's my understanding that I haven't been paid for the shed, which the back wall needs sided still.
Okay, what was the agreement on the shed?
I believe it was $1,500.
And
I believe I've been paid $1,000.
Okay. Wow. Ma'am, what do you say to this?
I have receipts here that he has been paid a total of $1,289.
What was the price? What was the amount you were to pay?
We did not have an agreement, which was my fault. I did not expect it. There was never an agreement made. And it was kind of pieced together, and here are pictures of it being incomplete still to this day. And
all right, sir.
2 years ago.
She says she's about to show me some pictures of showing that it is incomplete. And I don't know what I'm looking at, but I'm going to take your word.
It's a siding. That's the back side of the thing that doesn't have any siding on it. It has the material, but there's no siding or fascia, whatever. I can't think.
Okay.
That's not the right word.
All right, sir. What do you say? She's showing me evidence that it's incomplete.
The siding is not installed on the very back wall. Minus that, it's complete.
Incomplete.
Right.
So if she paid you less, it's because it's incomplete. So, but I'm going to take her word that she paid you all that was due. But even if I were to believe you that she hasn't paid you completely, it's because you haven't completed her property repairs. $2,145. Your judgment, your claim is dismissed, sir. Have a good day.
Plaintiff Jonathan Moore says he's a recovering crack addict who was using up until a month ago. Jonathan claims he's now in an inpatient recovery program, and he's suing his stepson today for an illegal eviction. Defendant Corey Spraggins says both Jonathan and his mother were drug addicts when he was growing up, so he practically raised himself. Corey allowed his mother and Jonathan to move in with him, but while there, his mother threatened his wife's life. Corey's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
I'm Corey's stepfather, and we had problems that brought me here. But by myself, I'm kind of a ex-addict.
Kinda.
Yes. Because I was still using all the way up until last month. And now I'm in treatment.
Good.
You know, and
Where?
In St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Outpatient?
Inpatient. They let me leave to come to the court.
Good.
And I return when I get back.
Good. What type of addiction you struggling with?
Crack, cocaine, and alcohol.
How long?
Since '84.
I'm glad to hear you in rehabilitation. That's a long addiction. Wish you well on your rehab and your recovery. How have your stepson and the two of you gotten along over the years?
Great, Your Honor.
Really? How long has he been your stepson?
It's 23 years.
All right. You give me some background, sir.
Rick he's never been a father figure to me. Been knowing him for, like you said, 23 years. He's been an addict the time I've known him. Married to my mother, she's been an addict since I was 10. Practically raised myself, so.
How are you doing? Did you finish high school and go beyond high school?
I'm a truck driver.
Good.
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. I know
about
you are.
5 kids.
Truck drivers make plenty of money.
Mm-hmm.
You have children yourself,
Yes, I
you
do.
say? 5?
Yes.
Okay.
All at home.
How many with your wife?
All of them.
All of them?
Yes, 25
Good.
years.
Very proud and impressed.
Thank you.
I come from a household of crack addicts, and you, from age 10, you're able to overcome it, become a successful truck driver, which, ladies, I don't know if y'all know, they make $70,000, $100,000 a year.
I know.
And she says she knows.
I know.
All right, why are you suing, sir, for illegal eviction?
Because I was recently staying with Corey and his wife, and my wife and his wife got into an altercation. And the altercation became unbearable. He asked his mom to move out, which later he asked me to move out, and we moved out with only to understand that he was returning our money that weekend when he get paid.
Returning what money?
Return the rent money.
Okay, for what month?
From March the 1st.
Month of March, all right. And when did you all leave? When did the final person, you said she left first, then you. When did you leave?
The 3rd.
March 3rd? Let me hear from you, sir. I'll let you tell me what happened here.
About 3 weeks prior to this altercation happening, one day I'm at work. My wife was trying to rest. The kids are making noise. She called me and asked me to ask my mother to get the kids and watch them. My mother stayed in my basement, full finished basement, so not a raggedy thing. So I called my mother. She okayed, I get the kids. She ended up coming up the stairs, cursing my wife out, feeling that she worked me up to
get her
to do that, you know what I'm saying? So, and that wasn't the case. And I was still on the phone when my mother was cussing my wife out, threatening her life, said she was gonna stab her. Yeah. Basically, her words is, come to me. You don't have to tell my son. You have anything to say to me, you tell it to me. I kill your, you know what I'm saying? You don't know me. And cuss my kids out, you know.
Is this true? To your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I know, I live with her.
See? He said, I might not have been there, but I live with her. So yes, he said, like that. You're in recovery for real. First part of recovery is to be honest, right?
Yes.
Is to tell the truth. Tell me how the eviction occurred then. They were arguing, fussing, cursing, or she was cursing at your wife, then what?
Well, basically, I just felt like, you know, that's my mother. You know, I don't want to kick her out, but if there was anything less than the death threat, we could have worked it out.
Okay.
But I can't have you threatening my wife.
So how long after that did you or your wife tell her or them they must leave?
That day, that moment.
Okay. And your counterclaim for $2,500, how do they owe you, or he in particular?
Well, basically, him and my mom called like my family back home, my hometown, telling everybody we on drugs, we're doing bad, How
do you know that?
Some of my family members told me that. They don't live here, they told me that.
Your stepfather? Someone told you he said it?
Yeah, him and my mother.
Voicemail.
Sir?
Yeah, him and my mother.
Yes.
Voicemail.
You said they were crackheads?
No, Your Honor.
Were on drugs?
No, Your Honor.
And
Is your wife, to your knowledge? Better plead that fifth.
I have.
Speechless.
All right.
I have no knowledge.
That's even better. What evidence do you have, sir?
Well, I did submit some. I have a written statement for a witness written statement. And we submitted some voicemails. That's a transcript, but all of them wasn't submitted. But
all right.
You got some.
Yeah.
They have the voicemails.
They have them to play?
Yeah.
All right, have them play them.
I know you've been getting my calls. I know you look at your phone, fix it for people, and you tell her to give me a call. Because ain't no true call to you owe me some money. Because I take it out on a whole bunch of Now, if I got a couple, everybody gonna suffer. You got time for that you won't want nobody to do this. And so your sorry wife, you just as bad as she is, trying to save her, to save your own, she kill you.
That's mama.
Well, it don't make no sense. Y'all got drunk, smoked and shit, you couldn't even say, it's go $50, mama, it go $100. You got me up. I'm not playing about my money and tell your sister the same thing. Don't with me, I'm the boss now. Crackhead. Ooh, just play with me. Leave me the alone. Give me my money.
All right. Well, this isn't the first time you met your mother, and we know that she's a woman of colorful lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, but the issue is whether he participated in telling others, not the mother directly. She harassed you every day forever. So I need to know about him participating in telling it to someone else. Now we know your mother is colorful, as we heard and as you know, but sometimes stepdads are a little more reserved about getting in between the relationship of a child and their mother. He didn't participate in this one. You put him out because he was with her, but I didn't hear anything that he did regarding cursing and going off on your wife and threatening your wife. So I'm going to dismiss your claim against him, and of course, sir, I'm going to dismiss your claim. Have a good day. That's my decision.
Basically, like the judge said, I'm just gonna be that innocent man. I've been there 23 years innocent. I can continue. I love my son.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings right now, just coming here, doing all this. You know me all these years. I'm a good dude, and the judge didn't see me do nothing wrong. I didn't do nothing wrong. So it's just you and mom, how y'all thing go is crazy.
But not my thing.
It's like I don't want to deal with you right now, or I don't know when I want to deal with you. I might not want to deal with you. This crazy.
It's wherever.
I just feel like he just wasted our time basically bringing us to court because we tried to help you and your wife.
Plaintiff Patricia Calvin rented a house from the defendant, and it was the biggest mistake she ever made. Patricia claims the defendant often came onto her property without permission, and she has the video to prove it. She's suing for an illegal eviction and emotional distress. Defendant Carrie Nelson says she started having problems with Patricia after Patricia started neglecting her property. Carrie's countersuing because she claims Patricia threatened her with bodily harm.
All right, start with you.
I met Carrie back in September 2017. I rented a home from her in November. It was the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. Every time she came over to my house, she had some neighborhood crackheads with her. I really believe she zoned it herself because everybody she associated with or brought to my house were neighborhood crackheads.
Brought to your house for what?
Checking the yard. She would go through my yard looking for cigarette butts. She'll find a cigarette butt and come in and
No,
say,
I'm talking about the drug addicts.
she would bring them with her to do
what?
She said to look through the yard or yard work or stuff like that. But I had a yard guy to do my yard work every 2 weeks. So I had a yard person already.
So she never found anything when she was looking?
Cigarette butts.
Okay.
But I don't smoke. I never smoked in my life. So one time she had the guy over with her, one of the neighborhood crackheads. She pulled a knife on him. My kids came running in the bedroom, said the landlord has a knife, to the guy's chest.
Outside?
Mm-hmm. He was in the backyard. By the time I got out there, he was stumbling around. They got in the truck and left. I also have a witness statement from my daughter for that.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
When you mentioned, did you ever discuss this with her?
Yeah, I did mention that when I gave her my 30-day notice.
What did she
Well,
say?
when she came over to the house, she basically told me I had no rights.
Okay,
it was
she
her.
didn't say anything specifically regarding the knife?
No.
All right. Let me hear from you.
Ms. Calvin, she did come to it for me in November. I got her reference from a good friend of mine, a good friend of mine. So I didn't check her background.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out that I was okay with Ms. Calvin. She moved in November. I had no problems with her, whatever was going on, until about June, July, when I saw the yard and the house getting a disarray, broken window dressing, tall grass, cigarette butts in the yard, went to the back, maggots over the garbage, the stench so bad you couldn't, I have a neighbor with cancer, so bad you couldn't get back there, broken furniture. But we didn't have problems until then. I sent her notice that the yard was disarray.
What was the response to that letter?
At the end of the day, she told me that she didn't see the problems,
Mm-hmm.
that grass was okay, that I was just a nitpicker.
So
and
what
that,
type of conversations did you all have during that time regarding the cleanliness of the yard and the window seals you say were broken?
The dressing,
or what happened?
blinds all broken
and
apart.
And you mentioned that to her? What did she say
No,
about that?
I didn't mention that to her.
Okay.
That I didn't come to later. That
all right, did that happen? Were they damaged, her property?
No.
Okay.
She didn't do any upgrades, painting, cleaning whatsoever before I moved in the property.
Okay.
So everything was the same when I moved out.
Got it. And what do you want to tell me about the knife situation?
I'd never heard of it before. I'm hearing it like you.
What's the illegal eviction and emotional distress?
Well, back in July, the same friend she says referred her, saw her coming out of my home and called me and said she was coming out of my house. She started doing this on a regular basis. Almost every day she would pop up. She would come through the yard. The kids would run in and say, oh, she's in the backyard. I would see her leaving out the yard. And on the 17th, I served her a notice that I was moving out.
17th
of July.
Mm-hmm.
I served her a notice that I was moving out in 30 days. And I told her because me and my kids were not comfortable there. We did not feel our privacy was respected. Mm-hmm. She felt like she can come in and go whenever she felt like it. And I told her I didn't think that was right. And I gave her notice, and here it is, that I served her, that I was moving out. And I gave that to her on the 17th of July. On the 20th of July, she came over and she served me with this handwritten eviction notice giving me 30 days to move out and said I had to be out by August 1st.
Let's see it, please.
Okay.
I then explained to her that that's not 30 days, it's August 1st. And I said, I had already given you a notice that I'm moving out August 31st. What's the need for the eviction? So she was like, oh, well, you pay your rent on time. There's not a problem with the rent. The house is in order. I just can't have people talking back to me and telling me when I can come and go as I please. I have video, and these are the transcripts of all the videos.
Okay.
I videotaped every time she came to my home.
All right.
Because the house is good, and you pay rent on time. I just can't have dissension.
I know what the rights are. I called, I checked.
And they said?
Yes, I supposed to get a 24-hour notice.
Before I come, before I come in the house or outside of the house?
Both.
You scared me in the backyard. I didn't know who that was.
Scared so easily, but
scared so easily? Why do you creep around like that?
I can do that.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Well, 2 days, get out.
You can't creep around like that.
Get out.
You can't creep around like
2
that.
days, get
You
out.
can't creep around like that.
I can do anything.
But what if I thought somebody was trying to break in? You scared the out of me.
You not trying to pick a wipe that
You know what? You need to. You know what? I paid you, so you need to get out of my yard.
Find someplace else to
I have. But you creep around here.
Get me property then. Get the
You quite creeping around here. No, you can't. No, you can't.
watch and see.
Okay, well, no, you can't.
You look like you walking like you're creeping.
I will.
Man, you can't do that. She's right. I'm just humoring you and saying that perhaps you had good intentions picking up the cigarette butts, but you can't come onto her property anytime you want. You can't even go in the backyard anytime you want. You have to give them, typically it's 24-hour notice. I don't know what agreement you all had. Sometimes it's 12-hour notice. All right.
Well, she wasn't moving, so that was the day I was checking because I didn't see her moving, so.
All right. What happened after that, ma'am?
Like I said, we agreed that my move-out date was August 31st. August 30th, I found out she went and filed eviction on me. And how I found out that the house that I was supposed to move in, I contacted the lady because, I hadn't heard from her. She said, well, you have been denied because you have an eviction on your record from where you live. And I was like, no, I don't. And I went online and checked. True enough, she filed an eviction on me. She came by the 30th, the day she filed. Like I said, I didn't know she had filed that day. And she kept coming, you have to be out of here. If you're not out of here by tomorrow at midnight, you're going to pay me a whole nother month's rent. I said, I will be out. I said, could you please leave me alone and quit coming over here harassing me? I'll be out of your house. She made a U-turn. She came back. She got out the car again, cursing at me.
Creeping.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It doesn't matter. I was not creeping. She was cursing at me and everything. So I'm rushing to get my stuff out. Like I said, at this point, I was denied for the house. I had nowhere to go. Okay. I got the truck. I put my stuff in storage. I went.
How long did it take you to get another place?
I moved October 1st.
When were you to move in the new one? The one you were turned down for?
That one I was supposed to move in the 31st.
So you missed an entire month of residency because of the eviction placed on your record.
Yes,
that's
because
what you're
I lost
saying.
the place.
Okay, and so what happened when you all went to court?
Okay, well, this shows that the day she filed it on the 30th. This here shows that. We went to court.
See it, please.
We went to court July 13th. I'm sorry, September 13th.
Yep.
And at that point, I told the judge I would like for it to be taken off my, dismissed and taken off my record because as of this point, me and my kids are homeless. And this is what, he had me to fill this out. And he took the eviction off my record.
So the damage you suffered was that 1 month that you were unable to obtain a residency based on her erroneous filings or her abusive process, if anything. If what I'm hearing is true, ma'am, what you did is you engaged in...
That's not true, though.
Okay,
Thing of it is not true.
I have some evidence here, so you'll have to give me yours, but let me finish, please. Abusive process. In other words, you all had an agreement and you jumped that agreement by going to the court instead, which caused a blemish on her record. So if what she says is true, you misrepresented what you intended to do. So go ahead, you tell.
Okay. First of all, I have a letter on the date that I gave Ms. Calvin her eviction notice, which
Let's
was...
see it, please.
Okay. This says the 17th, but it was on the 20th.
Now I gotta go with what that says.
But I wrote the date wrong.
Now you're trying to abuse this process.
Judge Mathis.
What, ma'am?
I didn't come back to her house until August 30th when she threatened to kick my butt, okay? To see if, because I saw nothing moving from the house. So on the 31st is when she decided, she says, give me one more day. I give her the extra day, but she don't come back so we can do the walkthrough until 9:30 at night. Okay, so I didn't illegally evict her. I
didn't say anything about you illegally evicting her. I said you filed eviction papers, even though you had agreed to a certain time.
Judge Mathis, I didn't file eviction until August 31st, August 30th, okay?
Well, let me look.
Look at the thing.
I got the record.
Look at it. Look at it. I didn't go to court. September 13th is when we went into court. Her eviction was on the 30th. Right. I didn't do that until the 30th.
And you all had agreed July 17th.
No.
I'm looking at
the
it.
date of her,
at the top, the date.
Her eviction is for the 20th.
Now, ma'am, I'm going to go with what you wrote here.
Wow.
Now, you tell me something. What do you mean, wow? You have an agreement I'm looking at. Like I'm doing something wrong to you. What's some wow? You handed me this?
Can I give you this?
What is it?
It's another eviction.
What
it's
is
a second eviction.
Pardon me?
It's the eviction notice here for if you want to look at it.
I ain't ready to have it. He worked for me. So, we're going to finish this first.
Her eviction,
all right,
Judge
we're going to
Mathis.
finish this, ma'am.
All right.
On
Her eviction
July.
was from.
Okay, you're not going to let me talk.
All right.
All right. I'm about to end this case, ma'am. You're being disrespectful. You won't let me talk. You're talking over me. Take this. Judge Mathis, I'm trying to tell you the law and you talking over me. Take this. Take this. I'm not ready for it. Take it. All right. The eviction wasn't illegal. However, it did hurt your credit, right? Mm-hmm. All right. But it was removed from your credit.
Yes, it was.
All right. So, but for that 1 month, it was on your credit and you suffered damage by not being able to get another place while it was on your credit. And that was the emotional distress as well as the misrepresentation as to when you can leave. How does she owe you, ma'am? $2,000.
I'm suing for emotional distress because of all the things that Ms. Calvin has done. She threatened to kick my butt in front of her children. I'll kick your if you don't do this or do that. She threatened
if you don't get off my property.
Well, no, I was my property. I was like just seeing if she was leaving at the time. And apparently she wasn't. That's when she said she was going to bodily harm me. So I ended up calling the police and telling them that if she was leaving.
What'd they tell you?
Well, they were going to do a walkthrough. She wouldn't let me. She ended up coming to my house.
No, the police about the threat. We're talking about the threat. You say you called the police about the threat.
They said, well, when you get ready to move out, call us. Give us 5 minutes.
Good enough. They ignored your
No,
threat.
they said to call. They would come there and do the walkthrough with me.
All right.
Right.
Good
They
enough.
would call.
Now, that had nothing to do with the threat that was made.
They said, call us. When you get ready to walk through the house, we will come there and walk with you. I'm suing for distress because she keeps harassing me.
How?
She writes me letters.
Saying what?
I don't know because I didn't open it.
Okay, well, it's not harassment if you haven't read them. It could say, how was your day? I love you. I had a change of heart. In fact, I don't even want any money. And now she got mad because you didn't respond. So she said, well, I'm going to go get my money. Nice as I was to her in that letter, I told her I loved her. I told her I forgive her. I told her we should go to church together. And she just going to blow me off. I'm mad. I'm going to sue her now. See, you should open that letter. It could have been something nice in there. Now she mad and want her money. You should open that letter. Let me let you go, ma'am. But no, she's going to win, ma'am, period. She's going to win. You superseded the process, abused the process, misrepresented what you had told her you all were going to do. You superseded and filed an eviction notice. The result was it went on her record, ruined her credit for that time until they removed it. For that, I'm granting her $3,000. Nothing you've said has convinced me that she has caused you any emotional distress. Have a good day.
I would like to say nobody should rent from this lady. She's a nut. She's a crackhead. And she will come in and out of your house when she feels like it. And you will not have no privacy and no respect at all.
Everything she said was a lie. Everything she said was a lie. I don't go to my tenant's home. She had cigarette butts all in the yard. I'm spending $500 now just to do the paint job from the smoke in the house. I never harassed her, never came by. Only in July when the property was curtains all and cigarettes and stuff in the yard. And I'm asking her, Patricia, clean it up. Well, I don't think it's bad. You're this, you're that.